circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans for the Split 2 action for Season 23, Round 3 here out at Mid-Ohio this evening. I'm your commentator, Hamish Munro, joined once again by Brett Fisher. A couple of technical difficulties to begin with, which were actually my fault. I was screen sharing it at too high resolution into Discord, and it was over-encoding my OBS, so we fixed that now, and now we're chilling, which is good to see. So, first of all, Brett, how are you? Second of all, Mid-Ohio, 150 Ks. One of the first circuits I ever did a league race in, and one that holds a very special place to my heart in terms of cutting laps around here in a supercar. And I think one which is going to test drive us tonight, may even give us a sneaky little gem of a race as well.
Good evening, Hamish, and good evening, everybody. Great to be back again at Mid-Ohio. 150 k's, as you said, 42 laps. This is going to be, I keep on saying every week it's going to be a cracker, but this one is going to be a cracker. It's a tight little twisty track. If, you know, like, probably feels more home in a go-kart than it does in a V8 supercar. But we're going to get them around, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great race. And yeah, no Damon this week. Luke Orman just saying no Damon. Yeah, no, he was away and didn't get back in time. So
I think he's actually pointing out the fact that I changed the subheader to "No, not Damon" underneath your name.
Correct. Yeah. I'm with right. Yeah. That's right. No, I'm not Damon.
No. But I mean, you know, I think this race is actually going to be quite crucial, because if you can't perform at Mid-Ohio and then you have a struggle next week at Donington, Barber the week after, you're on a real back foot. We often mention at the halfway point of the season, that's where we know who's relatively speaking in the championship standings or in the battle. At the moment, there's one person we can concretely say is in this battle, and that is Jim Caperonis, who's had a barn burner across the first two rounds. A win at Sebring, a podium last week. If he can back it up again tonight, he's going to walk out of Mid-Ohio with that orange number still next to his name, and then cross the pond over to Donington next week. We'd hope to have a positive finish once again. But let's have a quick look at the track map here this evening. It's a very, very short, sharp circuit. Even though it's got 13 turns, it's a very, very quick lap time, average of about 126 under racing conditions, as the drivers head out for qualifying at this stage. Not too far north of Columbus, not too far southwest of Cleveland as well. Here at Mid-Ohio, sports car course. Of course, known for hosting IMSA races as well as the Michelin Pilot Challenge as well over the years. Many other racing categories as well inside of the US, including Formula 4 North America as well. So though, opened up in 1962. This layout's been used since 1990. And 13 turns clockwise, 3.6 Ks, 2.2 miles in the old language. You started on the main straight though. And it's an area that I think is quite well known, Brett, for being quite chaotic off a race start. We've been here many a times before where someone has either bogged it off the line or they've stalled it off the line and it's caused absolute chaos before we even get up to turn 1. So tonight it's going to be about maximising your run off the start line. If you can in qualifying, obviously get as good of a qualifying position as you can. It is tough to pass here, easy to defend, but just getting a clean getaway early in this race and making it around turn 1 up towards turn 2, that's probably going to be your most important aspect to this race, is just getting the start perfected.
Oh yeah, and yeah, it's a tricky little first corner. I found it a little tricky. It's either flat or slightly, as you go towards the outside, slightly off camber. And you've got to get a good shot out of there. Got to get through there cleanly, and get yourself down to keyhole. And that's an interesting corner as well, because you come up over the rise and then back down, so it can unsettle the car quite quickly too there. So that's look, cold tyres first lap. Going to be interesting to see what happens as we get going.
Yeah, and then of course up towards turn 2, you mentioned the keyhole. It's a corner that's can be quite tricky, just keeping the car balanced through. There is a bump on the outside of the exit of the corner too. The drivers have to be cautious of. But then the run through 3 and 4, or the run through 3 up to 4, that is one where we could see carnage early on. Drivers getting kind of overlap with each other, ending up in the wall. We saw it in the ASR race on Tuesday. We could very easily see it here tonight as well. And then into turn 4, which is arguably your best overtaking opportunity the whole lap, hard braking zone. If you get the run out of turn 2, you set yourself up perfectly for turn 4. Is somewhat easy to defend though, but it's one where if you miss your braking marker by even a little bit, you're going to end up in the sand and needing a bucket and spade off the exit and picking up all the pieces.
And you know what they call that? Do you know what they call that sand trap?
What do they call that sand trap?
It's China Beach.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, China Beach.
Yeah, and I wonder whether they've got 100%, 125% tariff to get out of there at the moment.
Oh, surely it is. I think the sand that has been imported into that sand trap now costs a pretty penny. So they've definitely got tariffs on that. But then from turn 4, you come up the hill to turn 5, and it's as you come over the crest as you turn around the corner, and it's a straight dart downhill. It's a real roller coaster-esque section through here, through 4, 5, then through 6, the run up through 7, keeping the car, if you can, keeping the foot flat as you run through 8, and then into the braking zone at turn 9 is set up dependent though if you can do that, but just keeping the car settled through the here, dancing it through these corners. Get yourself set up nicely for 9. You make it through 9, and then the run up through Thunder Valley. Tough braking zone for turn 11 though. Tough braking zone. It's one that it's caught many a drivers out before. It's my real mods around this circuit is the braking zone at turn 11. Oh no, Jim, you'll see the orange number. You'll see it. It'll be on the timing tower. But yeah, the run through 11, and then as we run up through 12 and into 13, this section is so difficult. Arguably the hardest of the whole circuit, Brett. I mean, if you get unstuck just a little bit through here, you're going to drop a heap of spots. If you get unstuck through 12 at the carousel, and you're coming into pit lane, well, you could end up in the wars and end up in the grass. And I had comment from Mr. Randall, who I spot for on Thursday, said, "Oh, it's not too hard to speed into pit lane here." And I said to him, "Look, mate, as someone who has done it before, that is a lie. It is very easy to speed through pit lane here, because if you muck up the entry and you come in a bit too hot, you can get pinged for it very easily down at the pit entry there at turn 12, 13.
Yeah, and same like you're saying, Hamish, coming through 12, the carousel and things like that, you can't afford to get offline and try and get down the power. I was still trying to figure that corner out. Unfortunately, not a lot of practice on this track, but it'll kill your speed down the front straight if you don't get that corner right. And same again when you're coming into pit lane, it's coming off a rise and then down. So you've got everything going on in this track, up and down, left and right, and they're pretty severe, a lot of them. So you've got a lot of opportunity to get the car out of shape if you're not careful, if you don't apply the brakes or the accelerator, to perfection. And some people were doing it.
They were indeed. They were getting themselves set up to absolute perfection. Of course, some drivers as well had some pre-practice here on Monday during the over 50s race, which was a little bit damp. I think we can agree it was a little bit damp on track on Monday for some drivers. Maybe a little precursor for next week for Donington Park. I won't reveal too much. All I'll say is just read the supplementary regulations. That'll answer all your questions about the weather. But for Mid-Ohio tonight, I think for some drivers, including Jim Caperonis, who leads the championship, it's going to be about just keeping yourself in check, pretty much. Just keeping your, controlling the controllable, keeping your championship in check. For Jim, if he can have a nice, clean race tonight, keep it on the podium, he's going to set himself up well for the next couple of weeks at Donington next week, then out at Barber, and then also out towards Mosport later in the season too. So for him, he's just got to keep this nice, consistent run going. And for others, well, they've got to play catch-up a little bit here, and they've got to try and push to get a good performance tonight. Because if they fail to, it's going to... and you've already had some bad runs in the first 2 weeks, you are really on the back foot if you're hoping to challenge for top 10 in the championship this season.
And like we'll talk about for Hamish as well, we've only had one driver so far in the last 2 races finish on a podium. So, what's in store for tonight, so are we going to see that mix up, that we're going to see that sort of, that bingo hall ball rolling around and having a new winner every week, and really mixing up the standings throughout this series? Or are we going to see some people just sort of consistently, get a good finish and things like that? And that's the name of the game. If you want to win a championship, you've got to put yourself out there, and you've got to stay on track, and you've got to keep getting those decent points. I mean, we get two races that we can actually have droppable, but you don't want to count on them. You want to actually try and sort of place really, really well in all of them, and have your worst still being a good race. So it really minimises your chances of falling back down that ladder.
Well, if you look at Logan Barnett last season, his worst race was I think he finished P11. It was his one race where he finished outside of the top 10. And that's not that bad of a position to be in. Where every round, bar one, that you claimed on your points was a win, and every round that you claimed was a podium. I mean, that is just... it's pure dominance at that point. Pure dominance. But I think from what we've seen across the first 2 rounds, and I've got a feeling it's going to be similar tonight, the rest of this season, it's going to be on for young and old. Every single race, every single round, and every time we're on track, you're going to have the people who are at the top of your list take a race win, but there'll be others who may make an outside edge opportunity for themselves and then take it.
They're just sitting in the shadows.
Exactly.
They're sitting in the shadows, waiting to pounce. And we did talk before again about the times. Like you see some of the times out there, and you can see the top 20 drivers, within a second or so of each other. So they're all contenders. And once you look at sort of average lap times and things like that, that actual distance becomes even shorter. So yeah, like we're in for a real treat for this whole season, I think.
I think the calendar is going to offer us some great racing as well, and I mean, it's exciting to be back at Mid-Ohio, but Donington and Barber the next 2 weeks, then across the other half of the season, Winton, Mosport, Daytona, Interlagos and VIR. I mean, we're going to be in for an absolute barn burner to end out this season. Scotty Gamble in the chat with us saying, last time raced here, blew an engine at turn 11, cut across turn 12 under clutch over the grass to get into pit lane, picked up unsafe track re-entry penalty, fell short of his pit stall by 10 metres. So, there you go. You can get an unsafe entry, which gives you a penalty for sure. So, it's
definitely
very, very easy to do.
Well, we just touched on before about Donington being a possibility of a wet race. Do we know that yet? Do we not know that yet? But I'll tell you what, at the end of the Donington race, we're going to see who obviously adapts well under certain conditions. And that is going to be very, very interesting to see who comes out on top on that particular race.
Yeah, I think who can survive, those conditions to the best of their ability. and who can strategize, who has race practice and experience in the rain. You know, that's going to be a big thing, whether it is raining. Also, who has race experience at a changing conditions track as well, if it is going to be from wet to dry or dry to wet, possibly. Who knows? But the little details you've got to learn about wet weather racing can be very important next week at Donington Park. Tonight's starting grid, though, will be as follows. Trent Allen will start pole position once again this season for AICC Revolution E-Racing. He'll start alongside Lorne Mackay on the front row of the grid. Jim Caperonis, Matt Muggleton will then start on the second row with Steve Lanyon and Ricky Hyde on the third. Chad Viger, Andrew Rushworth for your top 8 cars with Andrew Hoffman and Todd Duggan. What a qualifying from Todd there to get inside of the top 10. Could he pay off, or could it pay off for him tonight, where he could finish inside of the top 10? That'd be a great return to form for him. Alistair Bales will start alongside Marky Harland for your top 12 here on the starting grid. In behind them, we'll have Shane Randall and Reese DeGoey, with Chris Blanchard, Tim Mulford making up the 8th row of the grid. Matt Scholes, Brian Minogue, Halil Cesar, Adrian Zeal for your top 20. Michael Quain, Mick Clifton, Paul Burns, and Matt Stoyles will make up the top 24 cars on the grid. Derek Lovegrove, Peter Baxter, Rick Feiger, Jeremy Bush for your top 28. Nick Hasler, Richard Barella for the top 30. Troy Sipple, Brett Taylor, Sean Cullen, Scott Weston. Yourself, Brett, inside of the top 35 cars. Simon Hedesheed, Brett O'Brien, Daniel Sheriffs. Not setting lap times in qualifying. They'll start at the back of the field. Our race controls once again. Jamie Dyke, David Coleman, and Thomas Freeman here this evening for Split 2. But big race coming our way. This is going to be one for the ages, Brett, and one which I think it could be championship winning or losing for some drivers out there.
Yeah, well, we'll see by the end of this race, I'll tell you now. So 42 laps to come our way very, very soon. Drivers starting to grid up now. And I'd say in that 35th position, I was way around the corner.
Let's have a look. Well, there's Scott, who you're starting alongside. I was just in behind. So I suppose if there's carnage lap one before turn 1, you've got plenty of time to take advantage and just drive through pit lane and avoid it.
Well, yeah, if I'm that quick on the thinking department. But anyway, that doesn't always happen.
We'll see. We'll see if we get carnage or not.
We'll
Barney, although, gets to fly the flag from New Heights here tonight. He actually gets a little stand to stand in above the circuit. So
he's right over the track there too.
He is.
That'd be a great view. That'd be a really good view.
Yeah, that'd be a great spot actually for a photographer, because you could take a picture of the car as it comes right alongside the wall from right above.
He's got a lot of real estate up there, hasn't he?
He does. He could have a little party up there.
Lonely. Well, he's got all his mates here at the moment.
Yeah. See if he can fly the flag. I suppose he's got a lot of flags he has to store up there, so.
Oh, well, yeah.
He needs the real estate.
Actually, I had a disconnection as I gridded up, and for whatever reason, the game booted me out, and I had to reload. So that was interesting.
Wow.
Here we go. Revs rising.
They are indeed. Lights up for the drivers at Mid-Ohio. Allen and Mackay on the front row. It is green flag running at Mid-Ohio. We're underway.
Jim Caperonis has got a great jump off the start there.
As did Mackay, who goes straight to the lead at turn 1. So Allen has really struggled off the line, and he's now dropped spots, or at least a spot in this race, to Lord Mackay. We can see Ricky Hyde's had a great start too. He's got Steve Lanyon in behind him, who's had a fairly good start. He stayed inside of the top 10. There's more drivers moving
So
around.
far through the key. Sorry, Hamish. So far through the keyhole first time around, everything's cleaner. Although then in the background there, we see someone having a big spin.
It's Nick Hasler off the road. We mentioned it. Cars getting overlapped with each other lap 1 between turn 2 and turn 3, and it's happened. For some of them, as there's been an absolute explosion down at turn 4. Todd Duggan and Alistair Bales are off the road. We missed that one to keep an eye on Hasler. If this is going to let me scroll back, please, we can actually have a look at this, because we are close enough. What has happened with Todd Duggan and Alistair Bales down here at turn 4? There's Todd on the inside. Oh, very late on the brakes, and they've both just gone off the road.
Wow. Just got up on the inside, and he's gone for his 125% tariff there.
Imagine if you entered the sand trap and all you could hear as you rumbled across it was Donald Trump saying the word China.
I can't do a good impersonation. So I won't even try.
I don't even know if I can be bothered to be honest with you. I think the racing I think the racing is more important and respectable than Donald Trump at this point. But Lorne Mackay leads the way. Trent Allen in behind him. Jim Caperonis for your top three. Matt Muggleton, Ricky Hyde inside of the top five. Steve Lanyon comes into pit lane. I have a feeling he may have jumped the start possibly because he's coming straight through pit lane. Didn't have any damage, so that's the only thing I can really think of is that he'd have a penalty over his head.
Yeah, and I think we did get another, there was another jump start too. Derek Lovegrove also jumped the start as well. So I do remember seeing two cars come through pit lane because I was so far down the back of the pack.
Jim, I unfortunately can't because the track cameras at this circuit are horrible. And if I go inside the car, it's going to be way too loud if I turn them up. So unfortunately, we have to deal with the Mid-Ohio track cams, which have horrible microphones on them. So sorry,
really
Jim.
Interesting section of track though there too. Look, and there's all sort of debris on the track there already. Look, you know what? Just coming through that section of the track, it's just you've got to be so patient on the throttle. It's just unbelievable. And how these guys were getting a lot more speed out of it. It's just a testament to how they were driving too. Just super accurate on the on everything that they were doing.
Just trying to balance it. I think I've actually found that. I think TV3 is going to be our best thing for car sounds, by the way. So we're going to stay with TV3 because this one's pretty loud. Yep, TV3 is the one. So as Lorne Mackay leads us down, he's had a great start tonight. You know what? I think Lorne, I mean, he had a lot of bad luck round one at Sebring where he had a lot of technical issues and that then forced him to stall the start. But I think he's had some incredible moments in this split. I think back to, I think it was season 20, he took the win at Sandown and it was actually good enough to get him into the top three of the championship to go up into split one. And I'm like, well, where the hell did Lorne come from? And since when was he in the battle for the top three? But he just snuck his way there, and he made it work for himself, and then he got the dividends of that.
And talk about dividend, Muggleton in position 4 and Hyde sort of having they're getting quite close together there. There's not, I mean, look, no one's made a breakaway. Look, there's all under half a second, bit by Jim Caperonis, he's now closing that gap a little bit there through the S's. And then back to Rushworth and Hoffman, there's a second gap between there. But if you have a look back further through the field, they're all within, like a half a second to a second. So the field is tight all the way down this pack at this stage. So that's great to see. Including
this one here, just outside of the top 10. Shane Randall leading this battle pack. He's in P10 at the moment. He's got Mikey Harland in behind him as well as Matt Scholes. Chris Blanchard, Hallel, Cesar for the top 14, and then Brian Minogue, Michael Quain as Scholes is in. So a very early pit stop from Matt Scholes. Very interesting strategy play to pit now. Of course, critical lap was around about lap 9 or lap 10, depending on your fuel usage. So maybe Scholes believes we're going to get a safety car.
Yeah, that's a really early stop, isn't it?
I think the benefit is, though, the setup this week has allowed drivers to actually save the tyres for the longest stint, so he can go long, but it's a big gamble to play for. To go for an undercut of that size over the likes of Harland and Randall just to get inside of the top 10, it's a big gamble. And I would think Matty maybe just doesn't want to have to get into too much of a race tonight because it's a track that you can get over strenuous very easily between yourself and another driver, just getting overlapped or getting caught up in the wrong spot. It's such a tough track to pass at and so easy to defend that he just probably wants some clean air to try and get his positions made under his strategy.
Yeah, I was just about to say that if he's feeling he's being held up by a driver in front of him and he feels like he can run cleaner and faster in fresh air, well, if a safety car comes out, you're in the hot seat, ready to go. What was his pit stop time? If we've got that up there, Hamish, just to sort of see.
It was 22 seconds, so it's a pretty average pit stop time. Roughly 30 litres, maybe 32 or 35, as Minogue also comes in. So it's he's pretty much just split the tank, but I think it's the fact that he'll have clean air and he can just push on.
Yeah.
That's what he'll be after, and the point of he's taken a stop before critical lap. So if there is a safety car, he can pit and get home.
And I like,
and that's
I
what
like how you,
about.
I like how you pronounced Minogue's name correctly this week, Hamish. Great.
Yeah,
well
you
done.
did. Yeah, you did well as well, Brett. Well done.
Thank
Practicing all week to get his name right. I didn't want to bring it up in case no one noticed, and then it just seemed natural.
No. You couldn't help notice that. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, speaking of you, Brett, here you are at the moment, up 11 spots in the P24. Been a good start.
It hasn't been a bad start. Yeah, I've been happy with that so far. There was a couple of guys just scattered off the track, which I was able to get past and things like that. So that was great. Sean Cullen, my teammate up ahead, he's doing all right too. He qualified better than I did. I had a shocker, but that's okay. You get on. I know practice, so I'm happy with what's going on at the moment. Just trying to keep it there at this stage, and just and hopefully just sort of as we've got a couple more cars going pit lane, Quayne and Mike Clifton. Yeah, just hoping to sort of wind some laps down and just get a feel for the car, feel for, to try and get some sort of speed out of it.
So there are two drivers out of this race thus far. Steve Lanyon has pulled out after his jump start. Same with Simon Hennessy. He's also out too, so it's unfortunate for both of them. But Quayne and Clifton are in. And I was going to point out too, Jim, you see that orange number there next to your name? That's where we put the orange number. He was under the impression we actually put it on his car somehow. I wish I could do that. I wish I could actually change the windscreen number to be orange, like real life. That would be fantastic.
It would be good. But the limitations of iRacing,
No, I know.
But have a look at him go. Like third spot.
He's
having a good one. He's having a crack at the moment. Under a little bit of pressure from Muggleton. So he's, not a huge amount, but he's in 3/10 behind him. So so he's there in that striking distance.
Not the level of pressure though that he hasn't dealt with before. He's been in this scenario before, and he's dealt with this scenario before as well. So he's doing a fantastic job. And as we said last week and earlier tonight, I mean, relatively speaking, he could finish where he is. He'd still leave this round with the orange number next to his name. He's beating those that he needs to beat.
Don't put the commentator's curse on him, for God's sake, Hamish. Muggleton having a little bit of a look on the inside.
It does not exist. It does not exist, Brett. We do not believe in witchcraft in this comms box. It does not exist.
No. Well, what a great battle pack here, between Caperanus, Muggleton, Hyde and Viega. And Rushworth is nearly 2 seconds back. So great little battle pack there. Tim Allen looks like he's going to have a little look on Mackay.
Well, you learned how to say Minogue, but you still pulled the old home improvement on Trent Allen there.
Oh, did I?
You did.
Bloody hell. I'm just not going to say people's first names. I think just Allen.
It's
unbelievable.
I may trick you one week and just actually change his name in the timing to Tim Allen just to test you. And see if you say Trent
Allen.
I know.
Well, just says T, so anyway.
There you go. No excuse now.
No, there you go.
Actual name.
Good. Yeah, now we've got the actual name. That's good. Still doesn't help. I'll probably still call him Tim. Sorry, Trent. My bad.
Paul Burns.
No, I mean, look,
spin off the road. That's a big off track down at
well
turn 4.
Yeah, back China Beach. He's got another 125% tariff on him.
Yep.
And he's leaving. Look at all the debris he's dropped.
I know. And that's going to make turn 5 such a struggle corner now, because it's already a tight line through there. He's just made it even tighter for the rest of the field. So that's going to make the night a little bit harder for those drivers as well.
5 laps down here so far.
Or 8 laps down here, actually.
Oh, is it? Sorry,
yeah, it's lap 8.
Because I need to get these glasses checked. Unbelievable. I'm making mistakes left, right and centre.
Nah, it's all right. Hello.
Might as well just jump off mic and give myself an uppercut.
Hello, Dave. How are you? In the chat with us, Mr. Arnie. Great to have you in.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. So Will Mackay leads the way. Duggan is in pit lane 2.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Duggan in pit lane at the moment.
Interesting, some of the early pit stoppers here, and who may get the benefit now of taking this pit stop within the first 10 laps before the critical. Is there anyone in those drivers of Minogue, O'Brien, Zeal, DeGoey, Scholes, Burns, Sipple, Quain, Bales, Clifton, Duggan? I think for me, the only drivers who could probably run pace with the front of the field and get the proper advantage of this is probably Scholes, maybe O'Brien, and maybe Burns, if he can have a nice clean run. I think they're probably the core 3 fastest of that whole group. But there's other drivers in there who've got some great racecraft, like Minogue. Sipple's had some fairly good racecraft of previous seasons. Quaney, Clifton, as well as Hasler also comes in. So
yep,
it's pretty interesting to see who may actually get the real benefits out of this. But at the moment, the biggest benefactor would be Minogue, who's actually at the front of that pack after he came in on lap 4. And also want to mention that O'Brien came in lap 1. Sipple also came in on lap 1, so both of them still need 2 stops.
Quite frankly, Hamish, I think you're just showing off by pronouncing everyone's surname, so, you know, it just makes me look like more of an idiot.
There is...
Can you rattle a few more off there for us?
Yeah, which one would you like me to rattle off for you?
Oh, just go through the whole list to be right.
Oh, no, that'll...
It's all good. Only Jake. But, I mean, look, we're still on this front battle, and I'll tell you what, yeah, it's a pretty hard place to get past, as we see Hoffman off track now.
Yeah. He was running
Wonder what's occurred there.
He was running with Tim Mulford before. What has happened to Trent Allen? He's dropping, and he's turned around.
Oh,
Trent Allen is turned
what
around.
has gone on here?
Oh, he's already there, so we're gonna... Well, we can't really pull a sneaky and reverse it, so...
Oh.
Something's happened. We'll find... Oh, we can't even find it later in the race now because I've reset the timing, so...
No, it's all right. Anyway, we'll find out somehow. I actually do think I watched this on after the race, and I can't remember who it was, but someone just got up the inside back of him, I think.
Well, he's not moving at the moment, and there's... I mean, Hoffman's come in, but Trent is not moving at this stage, so we'll keep an eye on it. But it is lap 10 of 42. We're at critical lap. Andrew Hoffman has come in. Yeah, I think Jim was following him pretty closely, so Jim may have actually gotten into him. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I think it might actually be a tech issue, possibly, because his car's not off. He's just not moving.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it might actually be a technical issue for him because there's a lot of cars coming in, and the safety car's actually coming out. So we are getting our first safety car of the night here at Mid-Ohio. So tech issues for Trent Allen, one of the championship contenders. This will take him out of the race. And
yeah,
now,
I do remember you saying it.
And this really puts him on the back foot for his championship hopes.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to really hurt him. And I'll tell you what, everyone's going to dive into pits, obviously, and get some fuel and tyres. And it's going to rattle up this order. So let's see what happens.
The driver now to keep an eye on is Brian Minogue, because he was the top-seeded driver who's already done one legal pit stop, mind you, on the CPSs. So we'll see where he actually ends up out of all this. Now, he is going to be further back in the order as, for whatever reason, Sean's decided to park his car on the grass. Is there any answer as to why?
Yeah, 100%. I was following him. And he came over through Thunder Valley, and just got over that crest, and just looped it on his own. He was pretty upset with himself because it was sitting pretty well too.
Oh, so a skill issue has cost him.
Yeah,
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Zigged when he should have zagged, which is unfortunate because he was like, what do you do?
No, that's right.
I was trying, like I was trying to, stay with him as much as I could on those runs, and I was actually starting to gain on him a little bit. But when the yellow came out, we were definitely well apart. And unfortunately, he lost the back of the car as he come over that crest.
So I've noticed. So obviously Jim Cabron has come out of pit lane in the lead, so that's worked out for him. But I've noticed there's some quite long pit stops in this field. One of them, Mikey Harland, whose pit stop was 27.8 seconds. Chris Blanchard directly behind him at 29.2 seconds. And then further back in the field, not Reese, you, 29.45 seconds. So you've also taken pretty much all your fuel, apart from coming into pit lane and then taking 0.1 of a litre on your next stop, I would assume.
Yeah, it was, I think it was only about 15 litres, which I slightly overfilled, which is same again, just getting yourself organised to do your calcs properly and stuff like that. And that probably cost me another couple of positions, obviously, later on in the race and things like that. But yeah, I tried to leave about 20 litres to go at least, but, you know, what do? You do the best you can. That's all I can say.
That's right. Some big gainers out of this pit stop period. Shane Randall now finds himself inside the top 5, taking a shorter stop on the first one. Chad Viger as well is up 5 inside of the top 2. Halil Cesar up 10 into the top 10. Matt Stoyles up 14. Rick Viger up 16. Scott Weston up 19. Jeremy Bush up 12. Brett Taylor up 15. Daniel Sheriff's up 22 from the back of the field. We mentioned those drivers who came in under the first 10 laps. Matt Sculls, Brian Minogue, the 2 top-seeded drivers at the moment, who have completed 2 compulsory pit stops. They set P21, P22, but luckily for them, at least for a regular pit stop, they do not now need to traverse the lane for the rest of this race. They can just stay out there, stay green, just push on.
Are there, so yeah, they'd be just happy where they are right now, having completed the 2. All they have to do is wind the laps down now, just keep the cars under control.
So there's some drivers within this little battle pack who still need one more stop, those being Brenton O'Brien, who came in on lap 1, and Troy Sipple, who came in on lap 1 as well. So both those guys need one more stop to get home.
Yep.
Everyone else, though, pretty much needs one stop, apart from that bottom pack on the tower. Those guys all can get home, except for those 2 that we just mentioned. We need to change this so it only reads 35 cars. That's 2. So 35 cars left. Caperonis is going to lead us off the start. Thoughts, Brett? Where do you think this one can now go? Because I think for Jim, taking an 18-second stop, he's just split the tank. He's gone probably 34, and then is saving some fuel. Probably go 34 again on the next stop, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, obviously Jim's gone for an even split if he can, and gain track position. So that's fantastic for him. There's nothing like being out in front though too. It gives you that sense of achievement. And Jim, after his last 2 races, he would have to be pretty pumped where he's right about now, knowing the fact that he's still got a lot of work to do. But he'd have to be happy with how the race is progressing so far. And look, he was looking comfortable in the car in practice and things like that. So, you know, yeah, he's all looking forward.
So the safety car is traversing towards pit lane. World Championship leader Jim Caperonis lead us away off of this restart.
Good old orange number himself.
Yep, good old orange number himself. I reckon he goes exit at turn 12. No, he's going to go now. He's going to go before turn 11, so he's gone early.
Wow.
There's Jim Caperonis. Wants to try and get the run through 12. That was a good jump. He caught him napping a little bit.
Great jump. Yeah.
So he did
He's
well.
playing the game, Jim, isn't he? He's playing the game really, really well.
He's playing it incredibly well. That's a great jump. 1 second, he's already pulled.
1 second. Yeah.
So with that restart, he's already out of tow range. So he has played that to absolute perfection.
So Matt Muggleton's got a good jump. Sorry, Hamish, but Matt Muggleton's got a great little start off there. He's 0.2 of a second behind Mackay. So he'd be looking at trying to do something in the next couple of laps while we're sort of just coming off this safety car. Tyres still coming back up to temperature. There's a couple of other battles up and down the field there. We've got Rushworth and Cesar, Harland and Blanchard in a couple little battles further back. Begoe and Zeal fairly close there as well. So, but same again, a little bit spread out further back down the pack, but there is a lot of close racing on this track so far. and hard track to pass too.
So
Like,
hard,
it's
so hard to pass. You really
Yeah.
have to force the door open if someone's defending hard.
Oh, 100%, you know, and yeah, the car's just so loaded in so many corners, and you see coming up over the rise there, so the car gets light, so you can't be on too much acceleration, otherwise you're going to lose the back end of the car, and it just, there's a lot going on this track.
So we're right on board with Halil Cesar, round turn 12. And Andrew Rushworth and Tim Mulford just ahead of him. Mulford comes in for his second stop of the race, so it's a very early stop. Very questionable time to come in. Lap 14 of 42 for these drivers.
That might have been a penalty for Tim Mulford.
Oh, yeah, you got to drive through, that's right.
Yeah.
So he gets a drive-through penalty for Tim Mulford, so allows these guys now to push on past, get up to P7 and P8 respectively. Stoyles inside of the 10. Rick Varga inside the 10 as well, which is good to see. Andrew Hoffman on the comeback train, but he's got Mikey Harland hot on his heels, as well as Chris Blanchard. Don't be surprised if both these guys go long. They took the big fuel stops in that one. But they need to remember they have to do the second stop to get home, so they will still need a little bit more just to do a pit stop to go up on the jacks and get this car home.
Sorry, Hamish, I'm just scanning, all up and down the pack there, and as you're saying, like, there's only probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 large gaps. The rest are everyone's really tucked in.
We've just seen that Tim has now gotten past Richard Barella here. Bruce goes under pressure from Adrian Zeal in behind as well, so these battle packs further in the field are still happening. And remember, these guys, just because they're at the back does not mean they're out of it. All these cars, from Degoe back, excluding 2, have taken 2 compulsory pit stops. So they don't have to pit again. So these guys will get positions gained naturally throughout this race across the next pit stop cycle for the rest of the drivers in the field. As Hasler comes into pit lane, and unfortunately that'll be for a 3rd stop or a penalty. We'll see what it is. But not the night on the road that he would have wanted coming into Ohio here this evening.
Yeah, and those guys have done their second stops. They're in no. I mean, they want to move forward if they can, but they're in no hurry to sort of make desperate moves because they know that they're in a good spot.
And what they would not want now is safety cars. They want it green because they want to be able to, run these tyres out. They maybe get a safety car later, but they don't want safety. Oh, well, actually, no, because if they got a safety car now, everyone else can just come in and get home. So what they want is they want a long green period, and then they would want to
peel off.
Yeah, and then they would want a safety car to come out roughly when the next scheduled pit stops would be, which would give a free stop to some of the field, but it would mean that they can just continue to stroll on past, especially if the leader stays out for an extra lap, which then extends the period of time that the safety car would not be out on track for.
Have a look at Jim Gay. So Chad slightly closed that gap now. He's down to 0.8 of a second. Lorne Mackay and Muggleton still close behind too. So there's nothing in this pack. It doesn't take much, and you see the cars, they sort of gain a couple of tenths here and there through different corners. Obviously, people having slightly different lines and probably driving certain corners a little bit better. But it's sort of seesawing throughout the whole pack. Throughout this whole top 4 cars, and it's just some great racing going all up and down this whole pack at the moment. We see probably mid pack near Hoffman right down to Bush. There's a close pack there, and I think it was like that for the whole night. There was a lot of racing going on all the way up and down this field.
Yeah, we can see this battle pack forming now. It's in behind Mikey Harland at the moment. Blanchard and Weston are pretty closely contested together at this stage. For Harland and Blanchard, well, they don't want safety cars because they've got so much fuel on board that they need green running just to get any benefit out of this, because they wouldn't want to take extra fuel on top of what they've already taken. So, they're only going to need a little bit of fuel on the next stop. They're pulling NASCAR straight to fill it up and take a little bit, possibly at the very end of the race, just seeing what happens. So they want green running. They want to be able to run long, have their long run pace really shine here for them. Let's just test. Let's see if he has actually cleaned up his roof, because we didn't sit on his roof last. Here it is. Oh, he has cleaned up his roof. Okay, good. Mike, we can have hamburger cam on Mikey's car, because he doesn't have what he had there 2 weeks ago, which is good to see. So we can sit on top of Mikey Harlan's car. Rushy's very right. Halil says his car is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how Andrew's actually not getting distracted by how good it looks, being in his mirror at the moment up in P8.
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. There it is there. I mean, it is honestly...
It's a cracking paint job.
Halil has been known to have some all-timers. And maybe it's a testament to the Cooler Master branding on top of that, but it is a sexy machine, for sure.
And he got pulled up by... Did we discuss this, or was it in the forums? He got pulled up by his painter because he chose a different colour on his wheels. And he pretty much said, mate, if you're not going to change the colour of your wheels, don't run the paint.
Wow.
I think that was roughly what I read. I thought. I'm not making it up, honest.
I suppose if it's a whole collective alongside the wheels, then I understand. You know, it wouldn't. I suppose it wouldn't look right with, you know, yellow wheels, for example. But it could maybe get away with white wheels. But I think black is probably the best look on it, for sure.
Yeah. Yep, we'll do what your painter says.
That's right. That's right. Ricky Hyde, though, hounding the back of Shane Randall at the moment. He's been sitting right behind him for quite a few laps now, but Shane does not just want to let him go. He wants to make him earn it at this point, so... Which he has every right to. This is for position. Both these guys are pitted. This is it's a genuine battle for P5 on the road, so Ricky has to work for this now. He has to fight for it. He's not just going to get it for free here tonight as we run round turn 9 in towards Thunder Valley, but this battle is looking to heat up. The problem now for Ricky is, though, because he's getting held up, he's losing time to Muggleton up the road from him in P4, as that gap's now out to 3.4 seconds from Muggleton back to Randall.
And that's where, you know, if you know you're a little bit quicker than the guy in front of you, and especially on a track like this, when you have to almost wait for, unless you're really super confident in a particular corner, you've got to you've got to wait until they make a slight mistake like that, and then you apply more pressure, and that's perfect timing to see what's going to go on here. So, you know, he's come out of that corner a little bit wide. Hyde's sort of just tucked right on the inside, but he's defended that incredibly well, actually. Still managed to hold him off there. Hyde just on the gas a little bit early, getting it stepped out sideways.
Yeah, he's just pushing that little bit too hard.
Yep. And that was perfect, actually, to show exactly what we're talking about then, you know. And now Hyde's just going to have to sort of just recompose himself and get back into the rhythm he was before. And that's the hard thing, you know. Like, do you just follow nose to tail to a car, hoping they'll make a mistake, like what happened, try and take advantage? But in this instance, you know, Hyde's come off it a little bit secondhand, and you know, now he's just got back up onto the back of him again. So, you know, will we see this again?
Well, I think for Ricky, he also needs to keep it out of the back of his mind that Rushworth and Cesar and Stoyles are chasing him down at the moment, as Rick Feiger's just gone off track in the background. He's off down at Thunder Valley. Another car's gone off down there. I think Blanchard's also now dropped spots, and we saw Scott Weston following him very closely behind, as Ricky Hyde now looks to get this job done on Randall. He's got it done before turn 1.
Yeah, we saw it before we cut away there, and we saw Randall just get a little bit stepped out sideways, and I reckon that's just unsettled the car a bit. And this time, Hyde's just taken complete advantage.
Yeah, so Weiger's in. Quain's had some issues. Let's have a quick look at this pass from Ricky Hyde, because he's had to force the door open here on this one. Look at that, up the inside. Outside line at 13. A great move from Ricky Hyde. He had to earn it. Fair play to him. Great job. And great racing between both of them. A lot of racing room given. Even there was a little bit of banging doors, but that's touring car racing. you know.
Oh, that's right. I
Which we
mean,
love.
you have to be allowed to do that, you know. I mean, obviously, if you've got to put the car in the right spot first, and he's done that, and there's been a clean pass, you know.
He's done well.
It'll be interesting to see whether Randall can now manage to hold on, or his hide going to pull away.
Well, he wants to try and sit in that toe if he can. The gap's already out to half a second. He's got Rushworth and Cesar closing in on him at this stage. So he'll be hoping he can at least hang with Hyde, and maybe he can pull all of them forward. I'm not sure, but it's going to be a tough go to make up 5.4 seconds on Muggleton now further up the road from them.
Yeah, that's definitely allowed that gap to really open up. So, yeah, and you can see just, you know, within a lap, you know, Hyde's managed to be able to pull nearly second out. So Randall's going to come under a fair bit of pressure too very, very shortly, because these guys are really closing in fast.
You can see the sorts of pressure that's being applied from Rushworth already, who's almost compounding the pressure from behind him from Cesar and trying to push it forward onto the back of Randall's car, maybe force a mistake in the 501. But Randall in the hot seat at the moment for a good finish. He sits inside the top 10 of the championship at this stage as well this season, Brett, just from some nice, clean, consistent finishes for himself. Top 10 at Sebring and then a top 15 last week at Bathurst. If he could play it off again tonight and get another top 10, he's going to be starting to look like one of the Mr. Consistents of the season.
Consistency is the key. And we say that all the time, you know, like if you can be consistent, that's how you're going to, you know, put a good championship together.
Let's have a look else. What other battles have we got there? We've got Todd Duggan, Brian Minogue,
Yeah.
Peter Baxter battling at this stage. They've also got Tim Mulford a little bit further behind. So,
Yeah, we'll have a look.
big send. Oh, a bit of a door bang.
Door bang there.
And you know what?
He's made the pass stick.
Fair play. Fair play. Good touring car move. I know that Pete might maybe got a little bit heated under the collar from just the door bang, but I see nothing wrong with it, Brett. Nice, clean move.
No,
they're both still going.
Yep.
You know, just touring car racing.
What happened behind there?
Ooh.
Mulford, I know they've managed to sort of get it all sorted there, but Mulford got a bit out of shape there. Great battles. I mean, yeah, like we were saying before, battle packs all up and down the field here, which is great to see. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their night and had a good race somewhere.
Western Inn, I feel this may be a penalty for possible contact with Chris Blanchard, possibly.
Yeah,
Brett.
I've got it on my list here as a drive-through from admin, so that wouldn't be a penalty as you see cruise through the lane.
He's having now return to circuit in the East-West Tasmanian racing car. He comes out just ahead of Adrian Zeal, who's down 3 on the road tonight, but he will get a net gain, possibly up towards the top 10.
Running in the marbles there.
Yeah. Oh, you see the rear sliding.
Yeah, yeah. Rear into that car, really loaded coming through that corner, so heading down slightly off camber, and easy to do.
Yeah, exactly right. Further up, Andrew Hoffman is just in behind Mikey Harland at the moment. Jeremy Bush a bit further back now with Brett Taylor as well. I don't know why this one camera on the circuit of TV3 just has very, very bad mic, but the rest of the TV cameras, for 3 at least, have very good bloody camera packs, I tell ya.
Unbelievable.
Be the bane of my existence sometimes. Yeah, but I mean, Hoffy's running pretty well at the moment. P11 did have the contact with Mulford earlier, but just trying to run on strong. We're at lap 23 of 42, so we're just past the halfway point of the race. Peter Baxter's entering pit lanes. The first of the pit stoppers is happening. We need to find a little battle pack to stay on here for the next few minutes. I think this top 4 might be the one, being that we are at the halfway point. We have had a safety car tonight, but being at the halfway point, we do need to allow our sponsor, of course, Racecraft Simulations, to send out some messages once again. So we'll sit with the leaders for the next few laps as we play some wonderful ads brought to us by Racecraft Simulations. If you're over in the WA area or in Perth as well, head over to 16 Grogan Road, Perth Airport. check out Racecraft Simulations, chat to John and the team. You can test the rig, maybe even order one for yourself. But we'll be back very soon after these messages from our title sponsor, Racecraft Simulations. Great to be back, ladies and gentlemen, after those messages from Racecraft Simulations. As I mentioned, if you're in the WA or Perth area, head over to 16 Gregan Road, Perth Airport. Chat to John and the team at Racecraft Simulations. Test out some of their rigs that they have on display. Or if you got some money, even buy one too. You can also order one straight to your door if you live outside of Western Australia. And if you got the money spare in your wallet, you might as well order the PT1. I mean, have you seen that thing? It plays the end of every single show we have. It looks absolutely incredible, and one that is worth every cent of investment that you put into it. Brett, we're at lap 26 of 42. So we're a bit past the halfway point now as Muggleton's come into pit lane. And Chad Viger has started to chase down Jim Caperonis at the front of the field and apply the pressure to the championship leader.
Yeah, he certainly has. Just before we went into that break, I was saying that Jim was nearly out to a second in front of him, but Chad is actually just, I don't know whether Jim's made a couple of errors or something like that, or Chad's starting to apply the pressure, but that gap has closed to within half a second now. So, and Lorne Mackay, same again, about half a second to 3/10 off the back of Viger as well. So, look, this front battle pack is really heating up.
Yeah, top three drivers separated by just over a second at the moment, from Caperonis back to Viger and then into Lorne Mackay as well. Ricky Hyde now finds himself P4 on the road, 5.3 seconds behind Lorne Mackay. So he's actually started to catch the leaders now that he's been released from behind Shane Randall, who is still getting hounded at the moment by Andrew Rushworth and Halil Cesar. Matt Stoyles is now starting to encroach on this battle as well. As we run up under the PPG bridge and up through Thunder Valley in towards turn 11 and then into 12 and 13. Rushworth has showed some great pace thus far this season, Brett. He's been, or as Randall's having a bad blink in front of him, he's been one of the sort of quiet achievers of the season as Cesar comes into pit lane.
Yep.
So for Rushworth, he's been quietly achieving across the first 2 rounds, but he's been achieving, you know, which has been very, very good to see from his perspective, as Randall's blinking is, he needs to be careful now, so we'll see how long he blinks for.
Hoffman in pits as well.
Yeah, Hoffy's in. He's still blinking bad.
Yeah. And it's, look, you know, we talk about consistency all the time, and that's what you need to do to have a good championship, as we see him blink again. He keeps on doing that, and with iRacing's new latency thingos, you can get a warning come up on your screen that iRacing now can take control and give you a... well, I'm not sure what it does, but
so
it
can
will
either tell you,
pits?
it'll either tell you to come into pits, or it can also just straight send you to pits, depending on how bad the latency is. Yeah.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. So, if it gets bad enough where you're literally blinking all over the place, like Shane's is relatively, I wouldn't say it's sporadic, but it you know, it's every couple of corners or so at the moment. Where I think if you are literally blinking like a blinker light on a car, that's when you would just get sent straight back to pit lane. Is when you are just in and out of existence constantly. As Mackay's in.
Yeah, Mackay's in. Yeah. So we're starting to see the cycle come through for all these second stops, and we'll see the field normalise. So it'll be interesting to see where everyone's lying at when all that comes out. But so Jim Cabaronis now, he's nearly got that second back again. So it's a bit seesawy at the moment.
And look who's up ahead of him at the moment. Oh, that's not even Rick. It is a Nick. I was about to say Nick Viger, but Nick Hasler just up ahead of him. So, but we know that Nick's not gonna pull a Team WRT at Daytona. He'll let him go. He doesn't want to, have a part to play in Chad trying to win this race. Chad will want to do it on his own. So
and Nick Viger, that's one for you.
Yeah, don't worry, Jim. We've been keeping it.
Oh, here we go.
Keeping it on some of the battles as Muggleton wants it up the inside of Mulford. Down at turn 4.
That's a good bit
of space. That's a great move.
Great move, and really good awareness of what's happening on the road too. That's great past that.
Yeah, race to Goey too, hot on the heels of yourself, Brett, with Scott Weston, Adrian Zeal, Brett and O'Brien in behind. O'Brien still needs one more stop to get home in this race here this evening. The other guys are on their 2 stops already, so this battle looks to continue on throughout this race as he run up through turn 9, then to 10 up to 11. Randall's still having a blink, so we'll see when he has to come into pit lane, because he'd undoubtedly be getting called into race control at this point as Bush is in. So well and truly into pit stop country at the moment now, Brett. Multiple cars coming in every single lap. But it's how long can some of those drivers go? How long does Harlan go? How long does Blanchard go, seeing as they took the longest stops on those first pit stops?
Yeah, and it's, are you waiting for a safety car, or are you waiting to run down your fuel? Or, do you want to have a fresher set of tyres later in the race? These are all things that go through your mind, obviously. And it's interesting to see everyone's difference there. And looking at, nice little move up the inside there. Nearly closed the door. But he's lost a lot of speed coming out of there. And so that's Muggleton now on the back as well. He's probably going to look to have a bit of an attack there as well, knowing that Brett Taylor's just got out of sync there for a couple of seconds.
Bit of damage on the front of Todd's car there. Wonder what that could have been. Look, about 30 odd laps ago. But no, he's still running well though. P8. Taylor doing a pretty good job tonight as well, but these guys do need another stop. Matt Muggleton's currently the highest seated driver as Shane Randall comes in, who has done a second pit stop in this race. So for Matt, how much gain can he get, and how will the, as Brett Taylor comes in, how will the traffic affect him compared to the race leader Jim Caparonis, of where he's going to end up, because Muggleton's seemingly not giving up too much time to Jim at the moment.
No. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see once it all unwinds, as myself and Scott Weston comes into pit lane for our final stops.
Yep. So pit lane filling up very, very quickly. Randall comes out right ahead of Paul Burns. Burns wants it round the outside towards turn 2. This is as tight as it can get between some drivers, side by side into 2 for them. Burns up the inside. Randall has to give it up for now. Doesn't want to hurt the tyres too much, but Burns is on much older tyres here, Brett. He came in on lap 10.
Yeah, and just watching Randall just in the marbles there too, he kept out of it enough, I think, that he didn't lose too much grip. But that would be something that's playing on my mind if I got forced out wide there. As you see, Jim Capronis coming into pit lane. Yep,
so race leader in. So now we've got to keep an eye on Matt Muggleton and where he ends up, because he's coming up through Thunder Valley in towards turn 11. Tucked nicely in behind Todd Duggan as Rushworth also comes in. Does Duggan make his entry into pit lane? No, he goes an extra lap. Wait, does he? No, he has actually come in. He tricked me there. He tricked me by going really tight at 12. Oh no, Muggleton's just had a big old blink. Come back to us. He did. That's good. And he's actually jumped Jim in the pits. So has Lord Mackay. So has Tim Mulford. But Mulford needs a stop. So Jim now exits P8 on the road. Is this provisional P3 or is it off the podium? That is the question, because Muggleton had a significantly shorter stop, which was about 9 seconds. So taking the longer fuel load on the initial stop, and then obviously under safety car, he didn't really give up too much time to then get that big gain over this pit stop. That's paid off massively for Matt, and he could be provisional leader at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, has he made it all work for him this race? We'll see as we get down. We're nearly down to 10 laps to go.
And he's chasing down. He's chasing down Mikey Harland, who still needs one more stop, but took a big fuel load in the first pit stop there. So he seems to be going long. We'll see if it pays off for him, going for this odd strategy. So I don't know if you've noticed. I made the joke, and if he makes it home tonight on his fuel, the joke will make even more sense. As Stoyles mucks up the pit entry, that's going to drop in time.
So easy to do too there. Yep. You know, that's a crazy pit entry.
I was going to mention, if he actually pulls this off tonight without running out, Mikey Harland would be perfect on his fuel strategy at circuits where they use freedom units, aka gallons, and would have underfueled at tracks where we use litres, i.e. Bathurst. So if he pays this off correctly, expect him to do well at American circuits because his fuel will be done right. Anything else? It's hands are up in the air. You don't know. So that's what that is for him.
Well,
happy birthday to Mikey as well. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Mikey.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yep. So Rushworth has now exited pits, and he's exited behind Degoe. And now this is where all those drivers who came in on lap 10, this is where they're all now coming back together again, who came in for their second stop. This is now where they're collecting with those other drivers in the field. So, for example, Degoe, who's now gone long, he's now ahead of Rushworth in the corrected order. Minogue's inside of the top 10 on corrected order after taking 2 stops already as Chad Viger comes into pit lane. If we look further back, Matt Stoyles is P15 at this stage as well, so he's had a great run thus far. So all of these drivers who have been in and around it all race long have now managed to fight their way forward again through keeping the tyres clean, getting their 2 compulsories out of the way before the pit stop, and just keeping consistent lap times. And the driver that it's paid off for the most is Brian Minogue, as Mulford also comes in. So Minogue could even be on for a top 5 tonight if this pays out for him, but he has got Blanchard in behind, who does need a second pit stop as Barella comes in.
How many drivers we've got left to actually complete their second compulsories?
We've got Ricky Hyde, Mikey Harland, Chris Blanchard, Brenton O'Brien, and Troy Sipple. I believe that's it. It'll be interesting to see once we get the top end of the field fully cleansed to see where we're all sitting. And where everyone's going to be situated and seated for the rest of the race. I mean, we're only going to have 9 to go when we cross the line next time by. We know that Ricky Hyde and Mikey Harlan need their stops. Muggleton is chasing down Mikey at the moment, but where does the strategy lie for them?
Blanchard had a look on Minogue a couple of seconds ago, so he's getting close, and here we go.
Cesar,
Oh,
who
that's
is
leaning on each other big time there.
So Halil's been the big loser out of all that. He's done his 2 compulsory. Sipple hasn't yet. Bush has done them too. So these guys are just trying to get around Troy here and make sure they can push on forward, because they've got Baxter and Bales and Hoffman chasing them down, as well as Tim Mulford, Todd Duggan, and co. So this battle pack's looking to heat up, and this is a feisty battle pack at this point of the race here, Brett.
Oh, it's huge. It says just getting past Sipple now. Baxter sitting behind Sipple. Wonder when Sipple's going to make his second stop.
I mean, look at the size of this pack. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
I mean, how many cars are involved? And this is absolutely huge. As
Oh,
Mulford down the inside. Big slider,
move.
1! Oh, my God. He's nearly hit Hoffy again.
Oh. Wow.
Wow, wow, wee. That was so close.
Well done that he had that sort of, well, it was out of control, but he didn't actually take anyone out at that
Yeah,
point.
I think he just put the brakes on and just let it just kind of slow up as he came around the corner. Very, very lucky. Good wherewithal from Hoffy as well, not to turn in too tight on the corner as that was happening. As Ricky Hyde is in. So Ricky Hyde comes through pit lane. Matt Muggleton is now chasing down Mikey Harlan, who needs his pit stop. So Matt Muggleton is going to be the provisional and effective leader of this race. Wow, wow, wee.
And moment. So Law McCoy's done his.
Yeah, he has. Yep.
So he's 3 seconds up the road, 4 seconds. And then Jim Caperonis was another couple of seconds behind.
Yeah,
So
here comes Ricky as well out of pit lane. So Ricky's now out. Chad Viger, Adrian Zeal. Chad, I think's had a moment at the last corner. He's now led Zippy past him. So these guys look to continue battling on. And look at how this has now paid off for Zippy through this strategy. He's now up inside of the top 10 for a Team AJR as well. So
he'd be wrapped with that. He'd be
Yeah,
happy
he
with
would.
top 10 at the moment. Just got to get it through the next how many laps?
about
And
run 35, so about 7 laps when we cross the line.
7 laps. These guys just battling up behind Baxter.
It's all getting hot.
It's all just
It's all
getting
getting
intense.
hot.
It
Hot
is
and
getting
contested.
intense, yeah. And I think like I talked about last week too, you know, you see a couple of things, especially a big pack like this. You see a couple of the guys, you know, trying to make moves. They, you know, car gets unsettled and the people behind just go, right, we're on here, you know, so just it all lifts. And so, yeah, if you can see a possibility of gaining a spot or whatever it is, yeah, you might drive that a little bit harder into a corner or, you know, yeah, it just, yeah.
So, the fact that we've got, what is it? I think it's 6 cars or 7 cars separated by probably 2 seconds at this point of the race seems absolutely ridiculous to me. That they're all this close and this tightly contested. But this is the sort of racing that Mid-Ohio will bring you. And it may not be that it's always inside of the top 10. There will be a battle pack somewhere that starts to form like this of 6 or 7 cars where the strategies have come together. And all of a sudden it's turning into a big crescendo to the end as Bales wants it up the inside of Baxter, but he can't quite get there.
Oh.
Look at the pressure in behind on Duggan though from Mulford. That is absolutely huge pressure in towards turn 1. And Mulford wants this job done ahead of Todd, but Todd's not going to, he's going to make him earn it here. He's not just going to give it to him. Yeah.
Geez, he's right. He's all over his mirrors there. And he, as you just said a couple of seconds ago, you can feel the heat just sort of rising and the temperature and the tempo just sort of starting to sort of pump it up.
Yep. So it almost feels that there's an electricity somewhat amongst this battle. And that it's one that if any move goes wrong, it could blow up in our faces here, Brett. It's one where, with so many cars so tightly contested together, it could very easily cause carnage or end in chaos or end in upset for a lot of these drivers. So, you know, I'm all for them wanting to race, but maybe time now just to say, hey, let's just cool the jets for a second and just wait for a chance. Don't push too hard.
And that's the thing is, I mean, you don't know what the person behind you or in front of you is thinking, how desperate they are. You know, do they want to push forward? Are you holding them up, or is someone holding someone up? You know, there's so many things that sort of come out to play. and that can sort of, turn that pressure cooker up just the boiling point.
Yeah, and how quickly it can turn from a simmer to a rolling boil. I mean, it's almost in an instant. You look away for only a moment and you turn around and, somehow the soup's burning. I don't know how you burn soup, but there's people who have done it. And hopefully tonight they don't burn the soup and they just let it simmer and give us a nice, tasty battle here for a Saturday evening show of V8 Veterans. So...
Oh, it's tasty.
It is
tasty.
It is.
Oh, and we've got someone around.
Todd Duggan around at turn 2. So Duggan's off the road.
That's
and now,
what we're talking about.
Yep. Is it a precursor though? Is it an early end to this battle, or is it just the first domino falling? Baxter putting all sorts of pressure on Sips. He's got pressure in behind as well, but for Duggan, he's lost out quite immensely.
It really hasn't spread this pack much further than, just taking one out of the equation at this point.
As we run down through turn 9, the run down Thunder Valley. Not the only course in the US with a section called Thunder Valley. Road America also has one too. It's back into the circuit. As we run up through turn 12 and in towards 13.
Is it the only place with a China beach?
Well, I would say Beijing probably has a beach.
No, on a racetrack.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if Shanghai has one that's called literally China Beach or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That'd be one for Zippy. He'd probably know. He knows all the stats.
Big dive on the... Well, it wasn't a dive. It was a decisive move to the outside. So try to sort of get anything up on Hoffman here. He's just a dab of the brakes to come through that corner there.
And for Mulford,
right up on his back.
He doesn't want to make contact again because these guys have already been in fisticuffs a little bit tonight. They've already made contact earlier in the race. He would not want it to happen again. Baxter has got Bales on his outside.
Yeah, Baxter's gone defensive there big time.
So lap 38 of 42.
Oh, inside.
Oh. There he is inside of the next corner is Mulford. He gets the job done on Hoffman. Taylor wants it as well, but they survive another lap. So this battle has been continuing on. We'll come back to it in a moment. Mikey Harland appears to be playing rear gunner for Matt Muggleton at the moment. He is holding back Lorne Mackay, allowing Jim Caparonis onto the back of him now. Ricky Hyde's starting to chase them down too, but when does Mikey come into pit lane? He needs another stop to get this car home. Adrian Zeal as well. He's under pressure from Chad Viger at the moment in towards turn 2 in the Team AJR entry. So there's pressure everywhere. It is a multi-point of pressure sort of a race. You look anywhere on the track and there's pressure being built from multiple angles.
Yeah, there's pressure cookers being turned onto high all over the track. And we just hope that it doesn't come unstuck for too many people.
No, that's right. Exactly right. We want them to get a nice clean race to the end, make the checkered flag, and don't get caught up in the wars if you can help it. As Sipple has got Baxter all over his chuff at the moment as we run down towards turn number 4. So the pressure that's being applied from the coast-to-coast car inside line. It's a big look. At turn 4, he runs it way wide and into the sand trap. Sipples don't make contact with him. There goes Bales. Multiple cars involved down at turn 5.
We have boil over.
We have Hoffman's been spun round. He's been spilled out of the pot as cars come through. Mikey Harlan, who we mentioned. Yeah, he has. Mikey Harlan, who we mentioned, is now coming to pit lane 2 for his stop. But the pressure cooker has finally boiled over. But it was a big send from Baxter. But how that little domino falling can have a bigger effect on other cars' races as well.
Massive. Look, we were wondering whether that was going to happen or not. It did. Look, there's winners and losers.
Zippy's been turned by Viger. Needs to be careful of the rejoin. Oh, careful, Zippy. You're pulling out on the racing line. Oh, my God. Oh, and he does make contact with Burns. That might be a penalty. It is going off at this stage of the race. The dominoes have fallen.
Oh, Cesar going through the middle of the two there.
Wow. And how things can change so quickly here, Brett. with only 2 laps to go and we cross the line, there's the pressure that's on or being applied to Jim at the moment. P3, he's got Ricky Hyde in behind him, Lorne Mackay up the road, and then Matt Muggleton 2.6 seconds ahead. Looks to be in race-winning form at the moment for the Old Mate and Sons. Hasn't taken a win since... Actually, I can't remember if he took a win last season. I believe he did. So, hasn't taken a win since last season as Matt missed out on the opportunity to battle for split one opportunity as Blanchard comes in with that knee surgery late in the season.
He's got a nice little buffer, about 2.5 seconds, but it's not over for Mackay, Caparonis, and Hyde. This is still on, and we've got 1.5 laps to go. Question?
Yes, it's 1.5 lap. Yeah, 1.5. Yeah.
Also. Yeah,
also.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
This lap and one more is what it is. So
that's right. Yeah.
So it was a big pressure cooker moment that is now crescendoed in the span of about 40 seconds or so. Race control will be all over it. We'll see what they say and how they pan it out. But a couple of moments there for some drivers, which may cost them. Now, the names that we need to keep an eye on here is, I believe, Brenton O'Brien, who is P8 at the moment, and Troy Sipple, because I believe they're the 2 drivers who came in on lap 1, and they both still need one more stop, so they actually need to stop this lap, otherwise they're going to get disqualified.
Yeah, right.
So they're the names we need to keep an eye on. So final lap, though, for the leaders, with Muggleton, Mackay, Caparonis, Hyde, and Minogue. We need to think about who we may put forward as Driver of the Day nominations. I think at the moment, for me, front runner, got to be Brian Minogue, up 13 into P5. Alternate strategy
I'm with
play.
you on that one.
Pitted on lap 10. It's paid off for him massively. I think it's been exceptional.
There's a lot of really good. I don't know. I'm lost for words. There's a lot of good racing going on out there tonight. So there's a lot of people that could be, up for it. I mean, I'm liking Hyde too. He's sort of just tucked himself right in behind the top 3 there at the moment, and he's looking. Where did Hyde start?
He started P6.
So
he's where we would expect him to be. Brian and Reese of SLS, they've both done an exceptional job. 31 laps on their tyres. At this point of the race is an incredible effort thus far. Both to be inside of the top 10 as well. So I think one of those two, maybe, possibly Ricky Hyde as well. We know how well he can go. But final couple of corners now for Matt Muggleton. And the Old Mate and Sons, he takes his first win of the season to make it 3 different winners in season 23. Muggleton conquers Mid-Ohio with Lorne Mackay, and Jim Caparonis keeps his perfect run of finishing on the podium. And he once again keeps the orange number next to his name. As Ricky Hyde has already come into pit lane, Brian Minogue will finish inside of the top 5. It has been an exceptional race from all of them, but I think we need to figure this out now as the final cars come across the line for who we want to put forward as driver of the day. Yeah,
it's funny because I don't think about it all the way through the race, and then it's like a surprise at the end race. Oh shit, I've got to bloody think of someone there. I mean, look, as you were saying, look, Degoe, I think he's good. O'Brien, I think that's another one, and then Minogue. I think that's probably a good sort of little pack to pick from.
Okay, well, since you said Brian and Minogue, as 2 separates, but it's the same.
No, O'Brien.
O'Brien. Well, O'Brien's been disqualified, so I'm not gonna.
Okay, well, no. Let's not do him.
No, we're not. Sorry, Brenton.
Yeah, we're just. Sorry, Brenton.
That wouldn't be fair if you ran into the top 10 and then got disqualified and then got driver of the day. That wouldn't be very fair. So.
No.
I think Ricky's going to be up there each week. I think Brian, though, for me personally, has had just such an exceptional run tonight. I feel pretty comfortable giving it to him because I think this has been a an outstanding performance for him. Although then the question is, do we give it to Reese? Because we wouldn't always expect Reese to get a top 10.
Yeah, I know, Reese. Yeah. Well, why don't we put it to the viewers?
Let's give it to the viewers. So, Brian, spell his name right. Minogue. Or Reese DeGoey.
What a fantastic, while you're doing that, Hamish, what a fantastic race tonight. There's been some action aplenty all the way up and down the pack. I hope you've really enjoyed watching this tonight. It's been really, really good watching it unfold. Even though I race in the race, you still don't know what happens around you. And what a top viewing there tonight with some really close racing, some really, really good outcomes. There's obviously going to be some sad faces in there as well, but this is great. You know, and look, Jim, he is on fire. He's got everything going for him at the moment. You know, it's 3 races. He's going to retain that cheesy coloured number. So would have to be pumped with where he's going in his race season thus far.
It's been his best start to the season to date for Jim Caperonis. Took his first win in the Vets back at Sebring and has just compounded that with perfect podium runs across the next 2 rounds of the championship. Well, see, now we're at an impasse because we've got a 3 and 2 split. But on the 2 side for Reese to go, Steve Grumley did mention the Reese is actually in the chat. So, no, but I think we're gonna we'll stick with the mantra of it's the majority that votes them in. So for this week's Chubby Buns Burgers Driver of the Day award, it is going to go the way of SLS Racing, and it is going to go the way of Brian Minogue, up 13 positions inside of the top 5 after an incredible strategy play to get his 2 compulsory pit stops done before the critical lap and before the safety car. So he managed to get himself home. Can we give it to both of them, Peter? Can we do that, Brett?
You know what?
Let's give it to both of them. Let's give it to both of them. Yeah, we'll give it to both of them.
Hey,
yeah.
Look, we can only ask for forgiveness later on. Eh?
We'll make Reg James work harder by needing 2 car graphics on his thing. Although they are from the same team, so it's a bit easier.
Well, that's right. So how good is that?
Our drivers of the day will go the way of Brian Minogue and Reese DeGoey of SLS Racing for sticking to their team strategy and getting both cars inside of the top 10. So congratulations to Brian and to Reese. You are both our drivers of the day this week. Congratulations.
Well done, boys.
Oh, yeah. Steve also mentioned that Brian actually voted for himself, so it's still a split vote. So, yeah, we'll just give it to both of them. That's fine. Yeah, both of them can get it. Both Brian and Reese will get the Drivers of the Day awards tonight. That is a great effort from them and SLS.
Yeah, that's sensational. I mean, like, how good is SLS going to be? They'll be pumping the air about that, eh?
Luke, I'd like to also point out that Split 3 have given it to 2 people at once before, so I'm not going to take any of that any of that criticism. Thank you. It's the only time we've given it to 2 drivers, and it's literally when the vote has been split down the middle between them. So I think I was the other a bit of a weird chubby buns when I made the suggestion that Jason Chin actually got the driver of the day when he was the safety car driver. That is
hilarious. We got that one over the line.
You know what? Fair play. If the safety car can win it, I think 2 drivers from the same team who both get in the top 10, I think they both deserve it. So I think that's fair.
Yeah, so I'm going to be the instigator of abnormalities.
Very good. Very good. Put it on the records board. You know, the big wooden board they have in cricket rooms and stuff, where it has all the records. Have one of those with the abnormalities of the Driver of the Day award. We start though tonight's interviews with P3 on the road, the championship leader, the man with the orange number next to his name, Jim Caperonis. So we've just caught you making a very suggestive moan sound, I must say, Jim. Definitely pulled you in at the wrong time. But congratulations, P3. You extend your championship gap, and you're 3 from 3 on the podium.
Yeah, thanks, bud. It was a tough race, actually. Had a bit of pressure at the end by Ricky. We had fresher tyres, and I knew it. And I just had to try and compose myself and just run clean and that's what I did at the end. So thank you very much.
Well done, Jim. Oh,
Thanks, Brad.
mate, that is fantastic. Look, 3 races in, you retain the cheesy coloured number on your car.
Now that I know where it is, I
Yeah.
was looking for it on
Jim,
the car.
Jim, you know what? I wish I could change the color of the windscreen number for you, because I would make it orange. I actually would. If I could, I would, but unfortunately
I
not.
had no idea. That's why I asked a stupid question.
It's all right. It's
Where is
okay.
it on the car?
So Jim,
Yes.
3 races in,
Mm-hmm.
you're still retaining the cheesy colour number.
Yep.
How are you feeling about your championship so far? I don't want to put the Mozza on you,
No,
but
in
you
all
know, like
honesty,
you're driving well, mate.
yeah. I'm lucky that I got a good team around me, led by Mr. Hoffy, and we're training constantly. And I'm just getting out there doing whatever I can do. We train together as much as we can when people are available, and we just practice and practice and practice. As I said, I'm not naturally gifted. I just turn laps, lap after
mate.
lap after lap, and I
Yep.
try. And if my boys are not on, I'll grab anybody, who's on track, and I'll do race laps with them. And that's what makes you go faster. Not hot lapping. I don't
No.
enjoy
Yep.
hot lapping. I want to do race laps. I've done it with your brother. I've done it
Yep.
with heaps of people. I love it. And that's what it's about. Yeah, hot lapping is not going to win your races. That's how I see it.
It's certainly not, Jim. And I'll tell you what, keep doing what you're doing, because you are belting it out of the park at the moment, mate. You are doing a fantastic job. Well done to you. Well done to your team. And I think, mate, just keep on keeping on.
Thanks,
Looking
Brett.
forward to seeing how the rest of this series goes, because it's
Thanks,
exciting.
buddy. I'll keep popping those arthritis pills. Get me ready for race days.
Mate, you
Jim,
got to.
Jim, the arthritis pills don't happen to be blue, do they, Jim? Because you might be getting a mixed up.
Mate, I'm old. That'll give me a heart attack. Are you insane?
Yeah, and you got to watch
No
if you
way.
don't have enough liquid when you have them, you get it stuck in your throat. You
Right,
get
and then my
you get
neck
stiff
will stretch
neck,
out.
yeah.
I don't want
you get
any
a
of
stiff
that.
neck, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so
Well done,
much,
Jim.
Jim.
Congratulations to Matt and Lorne as well. They raced superbly, and yeah, well done to Matt especially for winning the race. He had a good race. Strategized well, better than I did. Under fuel first lap, I was frustrated. I should have.
Oh,
put
there's
more fuel in it.
there's always things to work on and improve, Jim. So, maybe that's one thing, you
Yeah,
just
look,
to sort of work on.
big mistake. Yeah, I had to try and catch 4 seconds on lawn after coming out of this pit, and that was so hard. And I put a lot of work into it. I did catch him, but then I had bloody Ricky up behind me with a lot fresher tires, and I was shit me pants.
Yeah, he was coming. He was coming.
Yeah, I know, and he was so quick, but he was very respectful. He didn't sort of take me out or hit me in any way to try and get past. So I kept it as wide as I could, as like a truck, and he couldn't get around me. So maybe it might be next week his turn. I don't know.
Oh, we'll wait and see. We'll see, Jim.
Bring on that rain. Bring on that rain. I love the rain.
Oh, it's going to be a cracker. Well, that's good. Good luck to you for next week, mate.
Thanks, Father, and congratulations to the whole split 2 drivers. They all raced beautifully.
No worries, Jim. Thanks so much. Come and have a chat to us. Best of luck next week at Donington Park. We look forward to seeing how you go.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you for great work. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next
I
up,
love talking to Jim.
so do I.
Absolutely love talking to Jim.
He's one of the
fantastic
best.
Gentleman Jim of the V8 V8 Vets. Unbelievable.
Gentle Jim Caparonis, where if you get on his wrong side, he will swear you out, but if you're not, he'll give you a big cuddle for sure. He's someone who will pat you on the back no matter what. Next up, though, on the docket for the first time this season on the top step of the podium, Matt Muggleton of Old Mate and Sons. Matt, congratulations. A win next to your name this season comes after, well, I'd say disappointment at the end of last season, but that was more or less decision-making of having to get your knee operated on. Is it hunger now to get back up to a split 1 possible position now this season?
Hey guys, thanks for that. Yeah, absolutely. Like the knee recovery has definitely been a lot longer than expected, and still sort of stuffing around with that. But yeah, I guess like after round 1, round 2, I think I was 37th and 30th or something like that. at Bathurst, the new wheel I got, I had the settings all wrong. My hands went numb after like 10 laps. It was a disaster. So yeah, it's been nice to bounce back actually and just be back up the front. I mean, I was going to settle for like top 5 with a clean race would have been good enough for me.
Well, you needed that win.
Oh yeah, look, it's nice to finally put a whole race together, like qualifying. In practice, I don't know where that last little bit of speed came from. I've been searching for it all week and just talking to the team before the race. I found a little bit more and was able to be consistent with that. And with regards to like the long runs, I knew that in practice my long run pace was pretty good, and heading up to that second stop I did, I knew the undercut was on, but I wasn't sure if I go for it and just be conservative. But I went for it, and it was pretty wild.
Yeah, well, it definitely worked for you, mate. You know, you must be absolutely pumped with the result. And I know coming from, you know, like you say, you got yourself a new wheel, and so it was only wheel, not pedals and wheel.
Just a wheel at first. I thought the pedals
Yep.
were going to be all good. I gave them a refurb, and they're already falling apart. So that was a pretty skillful job I done there.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, just these sometimes when you just get into those little adjustments, it takes, you know, a little bit of time to actually readjust. And as you said then too, your settings are a little bit wrong or whatever it was. So they have a massive play on it, doesn't it? You know, especially if you're not feeling what you need to feel. So yeah, it looks like you got that sorted out now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a couple of guys in the community were really, really good and helping me with that. And once I got the settings right, it's incredible the difference. And I guess getting used to that, there's a little bit of more speed I think coming with just even something as simple as just feeling the slide a little bit earlier. So yeah, I think at the end of this season I might do the pedals then as well, go for the whole lot, and yeah, see how we go next season as well. But yeah, this season, I mean, I got to really keep pushing on now because in my mind, my 2 drop rounds are gone.
And do you give yourself I mean, obviously everyone wants to actually be at the top of the podium when at the end of the day for the season, but have you given yourself where you want to achieve for this series? You know, have you given yourself a level of where you want to be?
Yeah, I was definitely hoping to be top 5 again. But yeah, I mean that comes with its own difficulties. I mean, looking at the first couple of rounds, there's a much bigger pack moving towards the front of Split 2 this season, and even I think Trent had his issues tonight. I mean, he would normally be there as well. So yeah, the competition's pretty fierce.
Yeah, and I think Hamish and I, what I've been talking about before, you know, you've got a lot more squeezed into that top end of the pack now, you know, so there is going to be that, it's all going to be a little bit tighter now, isn't it? You know, so it certainly changes the dynamics of what's going on during a race when you've got a lot more closely competitive racing going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, now we're moving into the second season with these cars. Everyone's starting to get their head around it. We're all moving closer together. Except for Jordan Ross, but everyone else, we're all moving closer together. And then I guess collectively, yeah, the other 199 drivers will strategize on how to catch Jordan.
Yeah, well, that's 100% true. Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see where we go in season 2024, season 24, you know, and see whether that field even tightens up closer. You know, it'll be just all interesting. But mate, congratulations on the win today. Great effort. Well done. You've got to be wrapped with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot for that, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the broadcast. It was fantastic. And I just wanted to do a shout out for Jim Caperonis. You know, I was looking at his stats earlier today, and he's putting together a fantastic season. And good on him. Yeah, if anyone deserves it, from my experience here, it's Jim. So he's doing great.
He is, and you look, you couldn't wish it upon a nicer bloke, you know. I think maybe if he takes out the championship, I wonder whether we could get a crowd of people to go down to his Chubby Button Burgers and just have a massive
Just
party
descend
in one of his
like a
shops.
horde.
Yeah, imagine that. How good would that be? We'll all hire a 20-seater, go and collect people from around the country, or maybe more than a 20-seater, you know. Let's go, you know, a 70-seater or something like that then. We'll just take
line up with our stubby holders and our golden tickets.
No, we'll just get Dave Arney to do charter flights in the helicopter, go pick up, then cherry pick all the drivers in a small area.
Yeah,
Fly
yeah,
us all
yeah,
back there.
100%.
That's perfect. Lock it into the regs.
Yeah, I reckon. Well, Matt, we'll see you next week, hopefully, for Donington Park. Look forward to seeing how you go, and if you can continue now this new run of form for yourself of finishing up on the podium. Congratulations with your race win.
Cheers, guys. Much appreciated. Really looking forward to mixing it up in the rain. I've been practicing on the rain since 1992. Nigel Mansell's World Championship Racing, Super Nintendo. Bring that 16-bit experience forward.
I was going to say, you live in Tasmania. You should be used to driving in wet grass and mud.
Oh, I don't go out in the rain. It's yucky.
All right, Matty, get out of here. We're going to have a chat to our driver of the day. But congratulations. We'll hopefully be chatting to you next week once again.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Well, next up, for the first time this season, we've actually got one of our drivers of the day waiting to come and have a chat to us. So,
Yeah, one of our two.
one of our two, representing the whole team, it seems. It is the one and only Mr. Reese DeGoey. Reese, you actually might be our first driver of the day who's not finished on the podium to actually come and have a chat to us. So, history's been made by you, sir. You're also one half of the first duo that we've given the Driver of the Day award to for yourself and Brian. But what a strategy play from you both. Do the early stop, gamble on the safety car, and the dice roll pays off.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% on that with the strategy call. Yeah, the team had been working on it a bit earlier. And lap 9, I think, was the get-home lap. And when the safety car got called, on all our stops on lap 10 were, home and hosed.
Now, I mean, was that always going to be the game plan? Was gamble for safety car, come in early, and then aim for critical lap, or was it more so that you felt the field was being a little bit feisty and you thought, oh, this could go off here, we might just come in and take the early stop and gamble it?
Nah, we were always looking for the critical lap, whether the safety car or not was going to happen. Worked in our behaviour to have the safety car right on critical lap.
So, I mean, what are yourself, Brian, and obviously Steve, hoping to get out of this season? Unfortunate for Steve, jumped the start, then pulled out of the race very early. But what are you guys hoping to get out of this season? Are you trying just to get some top 10s, maybe even push for some podiums, and just see where you can improve upon seasons past, especially now that this is, I believe, your 4th season coming up to with SLS Racing?
Last season I only did 5 races and then had life got in the way, I guess. But top 10s, hopefully get a podium. I'm pretty sure the other boys are always looking at podiums. They're a bit faster than I am. Just consolidate and be a bit more consistent every Thursday night.
Now, obviously next week with Donington, first of all, are you going to be racing with us? Second of all, if you are, how are you feeling with the possibility of a wet track coming our way?
So I'll definitely be racing Thursday, and I jumped on last night, done some wet laps, and surprisingly it was very enjoyable. And then also with the track drying, it's a good challenge, and once it is dry and you get the dry line, you can actually push really hard, so it's good.
Yeah, and I suppose the big challenge will be just learning when that changeover point may be and implementing that properly in your strategy, possibly trying to line it up with a pit stop at some point.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing, learning the times and obviously when the track is dry enough to hop on a slick. If you get that right, you'll be up the pointy end.
Oh, mate, thank you so much for coming over chat to us. Let us know who helps get you and SLS Racing out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well. For myself, Brett, and the rest of the series and the admin, congratulations to you and to Brian and everyone at SLS for the Drivers of the Day award. Here, going to yourself and Brian Minogue for getting both your cars inside of the top 10. Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers. The sponsors on the car, and then the teammates for taking me on a few seasons ago. So, yeah, happy days.
Very good. Best of luck next week, Reese. Look forward to seeing how you go.
Cheers, Hamish.
Thank you.
Well done, Reese.
Yeah.
We are going to get into so much trouble, Hamish.
Why?
Because we just did 2 drivers of the day. Let's go love it. It's good. It's good. I like
It's different. It's daring. It's different. We're fine.
Wait until the private messages start flowing in, and yeah, what a great race tonight. That's fantastic.
An unbelievable night of racing. Next week's going to be just as good out at our next circuit on the docket, that being Donington Park. So we hope you all can join us once again for that broadcast right here on the V8 Vets channel, as well as over on the Infinity Broadcasting channel as well. We've been simulcasting all night long and all season long as well. So if you're on the Vets channel and you're new here, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing here with Split 2, Split 3, Split 4 action. If you're ever on the Infinity Broadcasting channel, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon too, to be notified whenever we go racing with the Racecraft Simulations V8 Vets Split 2 action and the VRS Porsche Cup Series action on Monday nights. To our next round of that series, heading out to Thruxton on Monday nights. That'll be a good race for those guys, for the Vets to be out at Donington. So a couple of UK tracks for some sim racing fans out there. I've been Hamish Munro, though, with Brett Fisher once again. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here with us this evening for round 3 of season 23 of the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans. A big shout out goes to all of our series sponsors, including Racecraft Simulations, the title sponsor, Logitech G, Parramatta Isuzu, Play One Sim Gear, Nova Sim Sports, Sud Speed Gloves, LGC Images, and Chubby Buns Burgers for their Driver of the Day award tonight. It has gone the way of Reece Segoe and Brian Minogue of SLS Racing. Next week, it could go to you and maybe even a friend. Who knows? But thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys next week for round 4 out at Donington Park. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Can't wait to hear those engines roar. Hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, temperatures rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, temperatures rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. They're gonna roll. Ooh, they're gonna roll.
The Racing Series is a new milestone in Logitech G.
All the great old wheels, the G29, the G920, the G923, they all have their own unique way of connecting to each other, but there's no room for expansion with those products.
So the question arose was, what if we were to give the opportunity for the racer to switch out from a drifting wheel to a GT rim?
With the wheel hubs that we've created, that's got a very specific button set, but you can replace any of the steering wheels.
And the real lovely aspect to this was we could give the user, driver and the racer the opportunity to experience different genres of race.
That allows drivers to craft high quality, customized setups that resonate with your individual racing style.
When we start with the design, we always start sketching. Very often, once we've got sketches, we start discussing with engineering.
We had 3 rounds of engineering testing or user testing where we invited in users from sim racing, and every single round of feedback we refine, the product based on what they tell us.
In this sim racing lab, again, we're going to use data to really analyze what a driver needs. We've used everything from eye tracking to the inputs from the pedals, the inputs from the, let's just say, input devices, the wheel and the pedals, the shifter. We're taking that and we're compiling it so that we can build different products based on those individuals' needs for all consumers and all drivers.
I don't know of anyone else in the industry that's actually doing this kind of research into their products to see how their products are affecting performance of their users.
We've built the product to make sure that it's as reliable as possible.
So the innovations in engineering that I'd say we're most proud of is the sequential handbrake and shifter toolless changeover. This is now a patented system, so it's really easy for the user to just switch between modes.
If you give people the tools to do what they want, they will.
They will just go off and have fun.
Introducing the Racecraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with the 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a Racecraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The Racecraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no-compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.